My fiancé arranged a meeting with her ex at a bar to test my ability to stay calm and not be jealous. He spent an hour belittling me while she giggled. He mocked my clothes, my job, and even how I secretly loved her. She touched his hand as if I wasn't even there. Then she looked me straight in the eye and said, "Well done, you passed." I just nodded, paid the bill, and left. This morning, after ignoring 50 missed calls, I picked up the phone. It was her ex sobbing because the test was my scheme to catch him admitting on video that they were still involved. It all began with a simple request from my fiancée, Amelia. "About a week ago," she said, "I need you to meet my ex, Leo." Her voice was casual, almost indifferent. "It's important to me that you prove you're not possessive." It was a challenge. With Amelia, everything was a challenge. I agreed with a smile, but the test wasn't hers. It was mine. And she was about to fail in spectacular fashion. Last night was the main event. We entered a dimly lit, overpriced bar. And there he was, lounging in a corner booth, Leo. He had the smug, polished look of a guy who never moved past his college glory days. He stood, gave Amelia a hug that lingered too long, and then shook my hand with a grip meant to dominate. I returned a steady, no-nonsense handshake. I wasn't there to spar. I was there to triumph. For the next hour, I listened. Leo spun tales of their past filled with private jokes I couldn't follow. He bragged about his impressive job, his sleek new car, his recent getaway to some tropical paradise. It was a textbook display of subtle, condescending swagger. He mocked my drink order, my outfit, my reserved nature. "Amelia used to go for the bold types," he said with a grin. "Guess she's in her tame phase now." Amelia laughed, a real, hearty laugh, as if he were the wittiest man alive. She touched his arm, leaned close to catch his words over the music, and shoot me glances that seemed to say, "This is what a real man looks like." I sat there, nodding, smiling faintly, playing the role of the slightly unsure but accommodating fiancé she expected. I didn't argue. I didn't get mad. I let them revel in their game, believing they held all the cards. Finally, after what seemed like forever, Amelia glanced at her watch. "Well," she said, her voice brimming with victory. "I think that went great." She turned to me, eyes gleaming with triumph. "Well done, you passed." I just smiled. "Good to know," I said. I pulled out my wallet, left enough cash to cover their pricey drinks, and stood. "You two have a great night." I walked out without a backward glance, leaving them stunned in silence. They'd expected drama, a meltdown, a confrontation. Instead, they got quiet, polite acceptance. Their confusion was the first step of their reckoning. The truth was, I knew. I'd known for 3 weeks. My best friend, Mark, had spotted them. He was at a cafe across town when he saw Amelia and Leo walk in together. They weren't acting like old friends catching up. They were behaving like lovers, hands clasped across the table, a stolen kiss when they thought no one noticed. Mark hated breaking the news, but he's a loyal friend. He snapped a quick subtle photo on his phone and texted it to me with a brief note. "Man, you need to see this." The image hit me like a blow to the chest. But after the initial sting of betrayal, a cold, calculated fury took hold. I could have confronted her right then, but that would have led to a barrage of lies, manipulation, and fake tears. She'd have spun it, blamed me, called me paranoid and controlling. I refused to give her that leverage. I didn't want a chaotic breakup. I wanted a precise, devastating takedown. I needed evidence so ironclad it would unravel her world. So, I began plotting. I needed them in a room together, where Leo's arrogance and Amelia's cruelty would make them feel secure enough to expose themselves. I had to make them think it was their idea. For 2 weeks, I played a role. The mildly possessive fiancé. A few nights after Mark's text, I set the plan in motion. We were watching a movie when her phone pinged. She glanced at it, smiled, and quickly flipped it over. I waited a moment, then asked, "Who was that?" My tone was just sharp enough to seem suspicious. She bristled instantly. "Just my friend Jessica." "Why are you so paranoid all of a sudden?" I backed off, but the seed was sown. A few days later, I commented on her coming home late from a girls' night. It was a careful balance. I had to be just irritating enough to provoke her, but not so confrontational that she'd sense danger. It worked like a charm. She started venting to her friends about my controlling behavior. Her best friend, Jessica, even pulled me aside at a party. "Amelia's worried about you," she said, her voice dripping with false sympathy. "She feels like you don't trust her." I played along, apologizing and saying I'd been feeling a bit insecure lately. I was crafting a story, one that would justify her next move to everyone in her circle. After 2 weeks of my subtle insecurity, she sat me down for the serious talk I'd anticipated. She said my jealousy was a problem, a deal breaker. She couldn't be with someone who didn't trust her. Then she dropped the line I'd been waiting for. "I think you should meet Leo," she said. "You need to see we're just friends, and you need to prove you can handle it." I acted reluctant, then agreed. The trap was ready. On the night of the test, I was prepared. I wore a jacket with a tiny, high-quality audio recorder tucked in the pocket. I also carried a pen, a nice one, a client gift, that happened to have a high-definition camera built in, able to record for over 2 hours. Before leaving, I checked my bank accounts. As expected, the secondary credit card I'd given Amelia for her had been busy. A $2,000 designer bag, a spa day with Jessica, a lavish dinner at a place I'd never visited. She was getting careless, comfortable. Another piece of evidence, another spark for the fire. At the bar, I let Leo's taunts slide off me. I needed him to see me as weak, non-threatening. Halfway through his show, I leaned in, putting on my most earnest, vulnerable face. "Look, man," I said, voice heavy with fake sincerity. "I know this is weird, but I love Amelia, and I trust her. She says you're just friends. I just need to hear it from you, for my peace of mind." It was like pouring fuel on his ego. He sat back, chest puffed out, a hunter savoring his prey's fear. Amelia ate it up. This was the drama she lived for. "Friends." Leo laughed, glancing at Amelia. "Sure, you could call us friends. Very close friends. I get it," I said, nodding like a fool. "You two have a past. I respect that." "Past?" Leo smirked. "We're writing new chapters all the time, pal." He was drunk on his own bravado, unable to stop himself. "Where do you think she was last Tuesday? When she said she was with her sister?" "Not knitting, I'll tell you that." Amelia giggled, hand over her mouth like a teenager. "They thought they were crushing me. In truth, they were handing me the tools to destroy them." I pressed one last time. "So, you're saying you're still sleeping with her?" I asked, voice breaking with just the right touch of fake pain. Leo leaned close, his voice a smug, victorious murmur. "Every chance I get, man. She loves it. She comes to you for the steady, boring stuff. She comes to me for the thrill." That was it. The confession. Clear, undeniable, captured in high-definition video and audio. I played along for a few more minutes. Then came Amelia's declaration that I'd passed her test. My calm exit from the bar wasn't shock or surrender. It was the composure of a strategist who just watched his enemy stumble into a perfectly set trap. At home, I didn't waste time. First, I called my credit card company and reported the secondary card as stolen. I disputed the recent charges, explaining my fiancée had used it for unauthorized personal purchases. They froze the card immediately. Then I started packing. Amelia had moved into my condo 6 months ago, never paying a cent for rent or utilities, but her stuff filled the closets. I didn't bother with care. I piled her clothes, shoes, and endless makeup into boxes and bags. Everything. While packing, I dug deeper. I knew Leo's full name, and his online presence was easy to find. His professional profile boasted his job achievements and, crucially, his relationship status, engaged to a woman named Clara. A quick search revealed something juicier. Clara's father, Richard Sterling, was the founder and CEO of the company where Leo worked as a senior executive. Leo wasn't just betraying his fiancée, he was betraying his boss's daughter, a career-ending misstep. I found a recent Society article featuring Richard Sterling. He looked like a man who didn't tolerate fools. He wouldn't take kindly to being humiliated. I took the video from the pen camera and the audio from the recorder, editing them into a tight 3-minute clip. It was devastating. It captured Leo's smug taunts, Amelia's gleeful laughter, and his unmistakable confession, all in crystal clear quality. I uploaded the video to a private, password-protected server. Then I wrote 2 emails. The first was to Clara. The subject: information about your fiancé, Leo. I explained who I was in the context of the test. I wrote that I was sorry to deliver such painful news, but she deserved to know the truth about the man she planned to marry. I included the video link and password. The second email went to Richard Sterling. The subject: confidential issue regarding your employee Leo. This one was formal. I introduced myself and noted that I'd uncovered evidence of highly unprofessional and unethical conduct by one of his executives. I mentioned the personal implications for his family, and urged him to review the attached evidence. I included the same link and password. I sent both emails around 2 a.m., then I finished packing Amelia's things, stacking the boxes by the door. I changed the passcodes on the electronic locks. Finally, I checked my phone. 50 missed calls, a deluge of texts. They started confused, then turned angry, then shifted to frantic concern. "Are you okay?" Amelia texted. "I'm worried." That's not how the night was supposed to go. The manipulation was staggering. I silenced my phone and went to bed. For the first time in months, I slept deeply. This morning, my phone rang. With an unfamiliar number. I let it ring, then curiosity won. I answered, putting it on speaker. A man's voice, broken by sobs, came through. "What did you do?" "It was Leo," I replied, voice cool and detached. "What's this about, Leo?" She saw it. Clara saw the video. he wailed. Her father saw it. I'm done. My life is ruined. Why would you do this? I let the silence linger. I'm not sure what you mean, Leo, I said. Last night you were so proud, boasting about sleeping with my fiancé. I just thought your fiancé and your boss deserved to see what a big shot you are. You wanted a stage. I just widened it. He erupted into a mix of threats and pleas, begging me to retract the video, to say it was a prank. I said, you made your choices, Leo. Now you live with them. Then I hung up and blocked his number. The consequences came fast. An hour later, a local business news site posted an article. Sterling Corp executive terminated amid controversy. It was vague, citing unethical personal conduct. I knew exactly what it meant. Richard Sterling didn't tolerate betrayal in his business or family. Leo was done. Amelia was next. She must have talked to Leo because she showed up at my condo around noon, frantically buzzing the intercom. I didn't respond. She called repeatedly. I let it ring. Then came desperate emails. She was sorry. It was a mistake. Leo meant nothing. She loved me. She called the test foolish, said she was just insecure. She begged to come back. I sent one email in reply. Subject: your belongings. The message was brief. Amelia, your things are packed. A moving service will deliver them to your parents' address this afternoon. The door passcode has changed. Our relationship is over. Further contact will be considered harassment. I attached the video so she'd know exactly what I had. The moving company arrived at 2 p.m. as planned. I was there to oversee it. Amelia was still in the hallway, sitting amid her boxes crying. When the movers arrived, she tried to make a scene, shouting that this was her home and they couldn't take her things. I prepared for this. I'd already spoken to building security, who were waiting nearby. They stepped in, calmly warning her that if she didn't comply, they'd call the police for trespassing. Defeated, she slumped against the wall, watching as the movers loaded her life onto a truck. Her family was the final piece. Her mother called first, all gentle concern and reason. She said Amelia had explained it all, that it was a misunderstanding, and my reaction was troubling. I told her I'd send her the same misunderstanding Amelia had seen, and she could decide for herself. Then her father called, loud and domineering, furious that I'd humiliated his daughter, insisting I had a duty to care for her. I let him rant. Then I said, sir, I'm sending you an email with a video. After you watch it, we'll have nothing more to discuss. I sent him the video. He didn't call back. The aftermath has been calm. The moving company confirmed Amelia's things were delivered. Her sister sent one hateful text, calling me heartless, which I blocked. Leo's vanished from social media. Clara posted a photo of herself on a plane, captioned, moving on to better days. Good for her. Yesterday, I got an email from Jessica, Amelia's best friend. It was a brief, uneasy apology. She showed me the video. It read, I had no idea. I'm so sorry for my role in this. Even her closest allies couldn't defend her against undeniable evidence. I spent the weekend scrubbing my condo, erasing every trace of Amelia. Feels larger now, freer. The entire relationship was a performance, a drawn-out test I was never meant to pass. She wanted me jealous to control me, weak to make her feel powerful. She misjudged me entirely. She thought she was testing a devoted, slightly pitiful fiancé. She didn't realize she was up against someone who'd already seen through her game and was waiting for the perfect moment to end it. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.